Okay, today is Egyptian mummy day, and this project takes a few weeks. It is a project that everybody seems to be excited to do, and they look forward to seeing it up on the boards. The younger kids always want to do it. So here are my different examples. This one, somebody just copied the King Tut sarcophagus cover. You could do an animal if you would like. The Egyptians revered their cats and some of their animals, so I let students choose to do animals if they want. Again, you all need to sketch these out first. Here's a great example using some of the Egyptian symbols. Mostly I'm looking for patterns and designs. You can use hieroglyphs if you would like in all of these. I usually provide everybody with a pattern just to make it easier to get started with. So I'm just going to trace my pattern on my paper. And again, everybody should probably spend a little bit of time looking at some Egyptian sarcophagus, looking and using your iPad to Google Egyptian symbols, Egyptian gods, Egyptian hieroglyphs, so that you can have some ideas of what you want to design your mummy with, sarcophagus with. So what people struggle with most is the face mask. So I'm going to draw the letter U right here, and then I kind of curve the top, and I'm basing it off of the King Tut mask. They've got these little, for no better word, dippy-doos that come down, and I know those are hard to see. Some of them do, some of them don't. So again, drawing, having a sketch first, and drawing in pencil in case you mess up. I'm going to draw it in a Sharpie so that you can see a little bit better. So this piece could be different. If you wanted it to make it an animal or a snake or one of the Egyptian gods, that's fine. In the one of King Tut, there's a snake that comes out of the top. And then, again, drawing patterns in the face mask. Again, what some of my students in the past have struggled most with is doing the face. About halfway up, I'm going to start my eyes and just keep it simple. Their eyes were a very strong, pronounced upper brow, eyeball circle, and then again, I'm just going over the top for a simple brow line. My nose, the easiest way to do a nose is a little simple backwards J. And then my lips, very simple. There's your simple face. I'm going to go ahead and outline the rest of this. Now, how I divide up my Egyptian body is I usually ask students, you're going to need to divide it up into at least 5 different spaces. If you go to the Nelson and you see the big mummies there, a lot of times down a middle piece or somewhere on the top, they'll have hieroglyphics that talk about what the Egyptian did, who that Egyptian was, and obviously you were mummified if you were somebody important in Egypt. So usually in this space, a lot of students will wait and they will do hieroglyphics and write their name down there. Then I'm going to divide this up into a few more spaces. I'm sad that I did this in Sharpie. This is one of my favorite ones where I did that bird symbol, can't remember what it's called, raw, in the middle. So that's one way to do it. Again, you can see all the different sections that are in each of these. So maybe you do hieroglyphics there. When people work on their final, when you start doing all these little details, I do tell kids that they can just go ahead and do it right in Sharpie, especially if you are doing a pattern that's tiny and repetitive like this. I think they should be symmetrical, so whatever I do on this side, I want to do again on this side. And I would look up Egyptian patterns. I'm going through kind of fast. A lot of times there seem to be like a collar design. Scarabs. Oh my gosh, Egypt, there's so many great resources that you can look to make your mummy look amazing. So again, maybe some hieroglyphics. So that was a very quick how to get yours mummy drawn. My next step, I usually tell people, are to paint. And I usually get gold paint. You can use gold paint, you can use gold markers, you can use whatever you have to be able to do. But I like my face mask to be painted. I am painting on a very slippery paper, so it's not taking the paint very well. And I just paint over my facial features because I know I can go back over them next time over the Sharpie. So I have students draw it. Usually my process is we spend a day sketching what our mummy's going to look like. Then we start drawing our final. And when we start to draw on our final, starting it in pencil and then going to try to outline as much as we can. By the third week, I have everybody start painting. That gold is not showing up very well. Then I like to use markers, the contrast of the markers and the paint. So the markers, and again, in a pattern. That's why we want to use Sharpie so it doesn't run. So that is the process. And again, I'm just going to show you some of the finished ones. The gold was painted, the different colors of markers. On this one, I did have I used paint pens, so I was able to add some metallic detail to the end when I was all done. Again, this was a beautiful one a student did. And this one was also done in metallic markers. So any supplies that you have, I like the contrast with the marker and the gold. And the Egyptians did use bright colors in a lot of their sarcophagus. If you go to the Nelson, they have great examples that you can look at.